first to report that his name is Paul Dudley. This single-engine 206A Jet Ranger is registered in his name. This is a dramatic scene. The Coast Guard was the first to be notified, but it was FDNY and NYPD divers who were first in the water. This is what's known as a swift water rescue. They were very quick to get in the water. We saw crews literally putting on their diving gear, getting out into the water and doing what it is that they do, operating and trying to rescue some of these folks who are in the water. It's unclear. We believe that this helicopter was taking off when it crashed. The helicopter did not have any flotation devices on the skids, so we're told that it sank relatively quickly. It's murky in that water, but we're told that crews have secured the helicopter, and it's possible they've begun the towing operation back to shore here. Now, Heather Brown, you've been out here all afternoon with me this afternoon, and you've been talking to some of the witnesses who actually saw some of this happen. Heather,
yes, exactly. And I know a lot of your videos showed what happened once the police officers and the firefighters showed up here. But we talked with folks who didn't quite see the helicopter go down. As you know, this is a heliport, so when you see these helicopters, a lot of people might not pay attention, even if they're out there just checking out for a ride here. But he said as soon as the copter went down, he said he saw it drift slowly, and slowly the skids started to go under. But what he also saw were two men holding on to the sides, clearly scared for what was going on. Let's take a listen to what Luis Reyes had to say.
The helicopter was upside down, and all you could see was the bottom, and two men hanging on opposite sides of the bottom, screaming for help. There's three people in here. There's three people in here. We need to get them out. And that's when, maybe 5 minutes after that, the cops showed up. I saw guys jumping in. They were throwing floating devices. They were just trying to, I guess, from completely submerging, and within 5 minutes, it was completely underwater.
So he tells us that those men were in business clothes, that they had some jackets on. He says at that point he really couldn't see what happened afterwards because the police did come in and clear everyone out right away. And we are attest to that as well. When we got here just a couple of minutes after the crash happened, we saw that the police officers were clearing a major path for people out this way. And as you can see right now, very busy on the scene here. Still lots of helicopters in the air, many police, many firefighters in this area. We drove around for just a little bit. There is quite a bit of traffic along here, along the FDR and in the blocks surrounding this 34th Street, so it's probably best to avoid this area if you're trying to drive through the city at this point. We'll have much more for you in just a little bit. Derry, Ernie, back to you guys.
All right, we certainly have a lot more to tell about this story. Our team coverage continues right now as we move to Bellevue Hospital for you.
That is where we told you that some of the victims were taken. Fox 5's Linda Schmidt is there. And Linda, what have you learned?
That's right. Good evening there, guys. Well, we can confirm for you right now, I just got word just a short time ago that one of the female passengers who was pulled from the water about 25 minutes ago after being submerged in that water for over an hour did not survive the helicopter crash. So there is one fatality here. There's a male pilot. There were 4 passengers. 2 of the female passengers, Nadine, go ahead and pan over here, brought here to Bellevue Hospital. Again, 2 female passengers. I'm told they are in critical condition. And then the pilot, a male passenger, and a male passenger, also they are in stable condition. At least one of them taken about a block and a half from where we are right now at NYU Medical Center. The condition of that person, I just got off the phone with the hospital a short time ago. They are not releasing the information at this point. However, we are told that both the pilot, a male, and a male passenger in stable condition. 2, again, female passengers brought here to Bellevue. They are in critical condition. And sadly, we just got word a short time ago that another female passenger who was submerged in that water for over an hour, sadly did not make it. Her body was pulled from the water about 25 minutes ago. I'll keep you updated as soon as we get some more information on how everybody is doing here at both Bellevue and NYU. We'll bring it to you right away. For now, that's the very latest from here. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
Joining us on the phone right now is retired Detective Lieutenant Steve Rodgers. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it was sad to hear about that one fatality in this crash today, Steve, and we have questions for you. What is the protocol for an accident like this?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the most paramount things now that's going to take place is try to speak to the victims when they're able to talk, because they will be the most reliable people to tell the police what happened. So that's number one. Secondly, during the course of this investigation, they're going to try to determine as quickly as possible if it was mechanical failure, because, you know, Ernie, you have other helicopters of that make and model, and you certainly don't want to see a repeat of this. So those are going to be the first things that are going to take place very, very soon.
Lieutenant, now that all of the passengers have been accounted for, what's the next step?
Well, obviously, the notification of their relatives is going to be the very next step. Now, as far as the investigation is concerned, as you've shown in your video footage, the police are going to cordon off that area. They're going to try to recover as many parts as they possibly can that are in the water. Fragments of anything is very important. Speaking to witnesses who saw the aircraft splash into the water, they're going to take a pretty huge puzzle and put that puzzle together so that they could determine exactly what happened here. And again, that's of paramount importance, especially if there was mechanical failure.
Absolutely. Retired Detective Lieutenant Steve Rodgers, thank you very much for your comments today. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right, now we want to get out to Dennis Protzko, who's been on the scene for us all afternoon. He's been high above it all in Skyfox HD.
Dennis, bring us up to date. We've been reporting a lot of the information. We understand now all the 5 people from the chopper have been recovered. 1 fatality, of course. Tell us what you have right now.
Well, that's true, Ernie, and that one person that was removed from the water just about 20 minutes before 4 o'clock was just put on board a medical examiner's vehicle, just removed from the scene within the last few minutes. We watched that vehicle pull away. That's the sad portion of the story so far, and of course a number of people in the hospital as it stands right now as well. Bring you down towards ground level again. Live pictures here from Skyfox HD. Looking here at the north end of the East 34th Street heliport here along the East River. This is where the incident occurred, just a little bit north of it, actually. We understand just around 3:22 this afternoon, this is where the helicopter took off from, possibly this north end spot here at the northern end of the East 34th Street heliport, traveling to the north. So usually he would come off the heliport, heading towards us, heading towards our camera, and turn north along the river, heading north on the east side of the river. Something happened shortly after takeoff. The aircraft possibly having some type of a mechanical issue. Pilot tried to make a left-hand turn, heading back south along the river on the western side of the river. Never made it back to the heliport, striking the water here about 100 yards or so just north of the heliport and about 25 to 30 yards off the water. You can see where these orange buoys were marked. That's where the aircraft went down and apparently is still in under about 50 feet of water. As it stands right now, the scene basically breaking down with that last person that was pulled from the water. Unfortunately, not a rescue, but a recovery at this point. And you can see that the FDNY NYPD boats are still in the area. They are tied off right over near the side of the river as we speak. Bring you out wide, and you can see that traffic does get by in the FDR in both directions. That is the good news, at least for travelers in this area. Northbound direction of the FDR, heavy backed up traffic. We only have 1 police car left over here on the side of the road, but no lanes blocked. We can tell at the FDR right now, backed up from just north of the Williamsburg Bridge up to this point. Bigger delays on the southbound side of the FDR, backed up from at least the RFK Triborough moving down towards this area. Again, luckily no lanes blocked off on the FDR, but again, this operation is still ongoing. They're going to try to figure out now exactly what happened to this aircraft just after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Obviously, the NYPD as well as the FAA, NTSB, they will all be investigating what exactly led up to this incident. Ernie and Derry.
Okay, thank you very much for that. There have been a number of eyewitnesses who have been giving us their account of what happened in the East River today. Dan Bowens is standing by with an interview and more information on this for us. Dan.
That's right, Ernie. You know, you heard that a lot of the focus now will be on exactly what happened. Investigators will want to be talking to people who saw when this helicopter crashed into the river. Robert, you were waiting at the ferry, which is near the 34th Street and FDR Drive.
Well, I was...
And you were waiting with your son, and you saw what happened. Tell us what happened.
Well, I wasn't waiting for the ferry. I was just simply there to watch the helicopters take off. And to my horror, I watched it go in. I took off and it turned over. It was spinning around immediately.
So you say that the helicopter went up and you saw it turn over and it went up blades
Normally
first.
Helicopters peel away. They take off and go either left or right. Okay?
At this particular helicopter?
Always. I'm an expert. I watch them, take off all the time. This helicopter, when it took off, it made the normal peel out move, but then started spinning around and obviously it was in trouble.
It was trouble.
Oh, there was something wrong immediately. And